All right, I think it's recording. So hello. I am pre-recording this because Jay Butter is not just about hair and skin. Remember, my motto is restoring mind, body, and spirit. So of course, we have got to start getting on this mind work and this spirit situation. And so what I have been doing is this breathing room devotional here, and I'm not quite sure it's going to be able to show backwards, but this is it right here. And so I'm going to be doing this 28 days. So for the next 28 days, we are going to be working on this. So this is like day one. So what's going to happen is I am going to right now try to see if I can pull up the video that goes with this first lesson. So let me figure out the site because I've watched the video, but that I'd rather you actually see it. It's pretty neat. So let me Google it. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. The book's called Breathing Room, and I had got it because I had gotten to this point where I was just really overwhelmed with everything, especially when we came back, guys, from COVID situation, and I just necessarily was not ready to go back to like regular life, and it became a little overwhelming for me. So I went ahead and purchased this book. And so I'm going to, they have one for just moms, but I'm actually picking for women because although I think everybody in our group is a mom, I do think that we have some that aren't moms, but still like have an overwhelming schedule and everything of that nature. So I want to make sure everybody's included and hopefully can get some resources and some help and eventually some breathing room. So let me pick out all of these things that are on my Facebook and not my Facebook, but on my computer. And I'm going to share the screen, and we are going to start off with video one. I want to say that section one is really about fear, or our fears, or what fears are pushing us to do things or say yes to things that aren't really necessary, or that are going to help us with our purpose in life, or just even like with our schedule, like we just say yes to things. So let me try and share this screen. I'm recording on Zoom, you guys, so I necessarily don't really know what I'm doing. Sometimes I can know, but there's a way to share my screen. There we go. Here we go. All right, so now you can see my screen, you guys, and we're gonna play video one. It's about 14 minutes long, and here we go.
What is this video for?
It's a documentary about breathing room.
Ah, sounds nice.
How are you feeling? Are you nervous?
Yeah, no. It's I just have a thing coming up at 5, so I have to.
We can let one of the crew guys hold your phone for you if you want.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna have to nurse, and then is this in a good position for that?
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think the crew guy could put some mats down? The hardwood floors are brand new.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll just go ahead and ask you some questions and just...
Okay, we're ready. Okay.
So, is there an area of your life where you need some breathing room?
We bought our dream home last year. This is it, but it came with a lot of things, like a huge yard, which is great, but we also have to perfectly maintain it or we get hate mail from HOA, which also has huge monthly fees, but we love it here. This is exactly what we wanted. Exactly.
I have a relationship that could use some breathing room.
Could you be more specific?
My mom moved in with us.
At work, craziness, insane boss, and I have to travel. So they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not married. There's no kids in your life, and your cat doesn't count."
Well, my kids go to school with a bunch of rich kids now, so they think they're rich too. But they did get unlimited data plans. So that's practical, right? This is a piece of art that he did. What do you call this? This is some Stegosaurus. It's a $3,000 couch.
My mom can't drive anymore. I have to drive her everywhere. Oh, that car's pulling out. Oh, the light's going to turn red soon.
I'm not married. I know, mother. Don't you think it's unfair how many dating apps I have to go through to find a guy and his profile is just him of hugging a tiger?
You ever pee with somebody staring at you the entire time?
I just got a new minivan. If I'm going to drive them all over creation here in 2 tournaments all over, I need some heated seats and satellite radio. And then you have to eat on the way. It's just, all that money just adds up.
I'm just trying to keep up. Take the conference call. Take the client out to dinner. Take the client out to lunch. Take the client to the bathroom while you're going to the bathroom.
I just don't even look at the numbers. Transfer from savings. Transfer from savings. It's kind of like driving your car towards a brick wall while blindfolded. When are we going to hit?
And so, what did that hit? Whoa.
Mommy needs to ride to Costco. Do you hear me?
Mom, remember the video?
Oh my gosh. One of the guys is calling me right now. I'll just press reject. What was the question?
Who's ready for a nap? You? No, it's never nap time. Never nap time.
Don't use any of this, okay?
Does anybody want wine? Do I take this thing with me?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What do you think breathing room would feel like?
Reading room would feel like
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sandra Stanley. Welcome to Breathing Room. If you were to ask any of those ladies how they've been lately, of course they'd answer, busy. Multitasking has just become the norm, and I'm as guilty as anyone. I love being productive. I'm a to-do list girl, and I like checking those boxes as I make progress. Backing off and living with breathing room has been a learned discipline for me. But along the journey, I've figured out a few things I want to share with you. And more importantly, Scripture has some really clear principles on the matter. I know I'm not alone in this struggle. So many of us are maxing ourselves out, maxing out our energy, maxing out our credit cards, maxing out our schedules. We need breathing room. Breathing room is the space between our pace and our limit. It's the space between our obligations on the calendar and the number of hours in a day. It's the space between our spending and the bottom line of our bank account. It doesn't occur naturally. Invitations and commitments push us to do more and to spend more until we are at capacity and we trade in our peace or our family's peace. Breathing room is an unhurried conversation with your husband about something other than logistical details. Breathing room is being able to give generously because there's money left over at the end of the month. Breathing room is dinner around the table instead of the drive-through. I don't need to convince you that those things are preferable to the frantic, frazzled pace of living without breathing room. So why do we do it? And how do we stop? Over the next few weeks, we'll look at breathing room in our schedules, our finances, and our relationships. But I want to start by showing you that this is actually a spiritual issue. It turns out that wrapped up in our calendars and our checking accounts, God is asking us an important question. Before we get to that question though, let's get honest about why we live without breathing room. Why do we spend even when we don't have money? Why do we say yes even when we don't have time? I think the thing that eats away at our breathing room is fear. We fear not mattering. When I was at home with little ones picking up the same toys over and over and doing endless loads of laundry, it was hard to remember that the work I was doing would matter in the long run. We fear falling behind. Comparison tricks us into thinking we need to catch up. Maybe to a coworker who's getting lots of praise from the boss lately, or a neighbor whose renovated kitchen makes ours look so outdated. We fear missing out. Sometimes we're afraid that if we say no to the invitation or opportunity, it won't come back around. This might be my only shot. Or we moms fear that our kids will miss out. We're afraid to tell our daughter it's gymnastics or swimming, not gymnastics and swimming, because everybody else is doing both. And here's the biggest one for me. We fear disappointing others. We all like being liked. So we say yes because we're afraid to disappoint someone by saying, sorry, I just can't this time. These fears trick us into making the wrong choice. They leave us exhausted, trying to make progress, trying to keep up by being busy. Let's look at how God calls us to pursue peace instead. The 10 Commandments are familiar to most of us, but I want to look a little more closely at the one in which God addresses breathing room. In Exodus 20, verses 8 through 10, God told the Israelites, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work. At the time God gave this command, the Israelites had been slaves for 400 years. The only life they knew was working all day, every day. There were thousands of them, and they did not have pantries and refrigerators filled with food. If they didn't work that day, they didn't eat that day. So God telling them to take an entire day off was an extreme request. They were terrified that they would all go hungry. God was up to something though. In Exodus 31:13, he instructs Moses, say to the Israelites, you must observe my Sabbaths. This will be a sign between me and you for generations to come, so that you may know that I am the Lord. That last little phrase is a really big deal, so that you may know that I am the Lord. God was saying to them, I want to prove to you that I can be trusted. Perhaps you know the rest of the story. Each morning, the Israelites would wake up and they would find enough manna for the whole day. And each evening, God provided quail so that they would have meat. But it gets even better. Every week, on the day before the Sabbath, they would find twice as much, and it would stay fresh, so their Sabbath needs were covered. God responded to their fear of going hungry by faithfully providing their daily bread, even on the day that he had asked them not to work. In establishing the routine of a Sabbath, God was proving week after week that he could be trusted. When we think of Sabbath today, we might think of unplugging from our devices or attending a church service. And while those practices are great, they miss the larger question. And that question is, do I trust God? Do I really believe that in establishing breathing room, God can be trusted? That I don't have to grit my teeth and push beyond my limits? That God cares about the details of my schedule and my finances? If you're a stay-at-home mom trying to run a side business too, your question might be, do I trust God to provide for my family without exhausting myself like this? Maybe you're single or an empty nester, and the question for you is, do I trust God with my friendships and relationships without being guilt-tripped into saying yes to every invitation I get? The concept of a Sabbath isn't just about setting aside time for God. It's about trusting him. Just like the Israelites, we're not supposed to work to the point of exhaustion. Sabbath is God's invitation to live with breathing room and trust him to fill in the gaps. 22 years ago, my husband Andy left his previous job to start North Point Community Church. His work schedule got a little crazy with later hours and evening meetings, But also during that season, we had 2 toddlers and a newborn. To say life at home was a little chaotic would be an understatement for sure. I was changing a gazillion diapers, trying to keep the little people fed, policing fights over toys, wiping noses, running errands, giving baths, and sometimes searching for Andrew, who loved to find fun new places to hide. It was crazy. I lived for the quiet of nap time. The days were overwhelming and exhausting. Andy would get home, and about 90% of the time, there had been no time for a shower or any significant dinner prep. You might say there wasn't much breathing room. Maybe you can relate to that. As Andy and I talked one night, he said, in a perfect world, if you could adjust my schedule any way you wanted, what would it look like? And I told him that in a perfect world, he would get home at 4:30 or 5, because from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock were the crazy hours. Those were the hardest ones to navigate alone. I knew this was a crazy request. We had flipped our lives upside down to start a church, and now I was asking him to cut his workday short, to leave the rest of his team behind at the office while he came home to help me. It seemed almost as crazy as God's request that the Israelites stop working for an entire day. But the truth is, we were out of breathing room. We had to ask ourselves, if God is calling us to build a church, do we trust that He can do it without working at a pace that's exhausting our family? The answer was yes. We trusted God. We adjusted the schedule so that Andy could be home by 5 o'clock. We chose peace over progress. And you know what? God provided both. Creating breathing room was a game changer for our family. It gave me the margin to be a better mom, and Andy and I both have such precious memories of that time as a family. You see, any area of life where we're running out of breathing room, it really is a chance for us to back off and trust God. It's what He called us to do. It's a promise He made over and over again through the whole Bible. When you're afraid, trust me. For the Israelites, it was, even though we're afraid we won't have enough food, we trust God to provide, so we are taking a Sabbath. For you, it may be, even though I'm afraid of missing out on that promotion, I trust God with my career, so I am going home to have dinner with my family. Or even though I'm afraid they'll be disappointed, I trust God with my finances, and I'm skipping the girls' getaway this time. Ladies, your Heavenly Father is asking you to trust Him. Don't trade your peace for progress. In the face of the fears that push you to live without any breathing room, trust God. You will find Him completely trustworthy. Here's where we're going for the next few weeks. We're going to talk about creating breathing room in your schedule, your finances, and in your relationships. As you track along in the Breathing Room book, you'll dig into some of the fears we've talked about, and you'll think through some goals and dreams. Hopefully, you'll have life-giving conversations with the women around you, and you'll make a plan for stretching that space between your pace and your limits. So let's work through each day of the book and keep an eye out for the areas where we may be trading our peace for progress. We're going to find out that life is just better with breathing room.
All right, so I think that's it. And so, you guys, that is what we're going to do. I'm going to go over the discussion questions that she asked in the book. And so it does do like a video reflection. You're supposed to just kind of reflect on how you related to what she said. And then the first question that she had in the discussion questions for this week, from after you watch the video, my bad. It is, which of the women in the opening video did you most relate to and why? I would say the girl who was on the phone, even though she's single, I related to her. And then the one with all the kids. I just, even though I don't have a lot of kids, I do have kids sometimes, and so I can relate to that. But more so the girl that was on the phone. If she had one kid, then we'd probably be the same person, because I feel like I'm always in my phone, always trying to engage on social media. You know, like always just trying to keep it in there. When I go to the bathroom, my son is like, "Hey, mom," because he knows I don't have the phone with me. So that's the time that he tries to sneak in and have a conversation, which is not fair to him. So that's just like, I can definitely relate to her and then the lady with the kid. So the next question is, there are 4 fears that drive us to live without breathing room. Which do you struggle the most with? My 2 were the fear of falling behind and the fear of disappointing others. Um, Both like are they're legit, like those are my things. Falling behind, definitely, because at one point I was working 2, 3 jobs. Um, and I do know, I sometimes I sit back now that I have like this one situation going on. I don't know how I was doing that, like, and functioning for real. Um, and then like disappointing others, like the falling behind thing. I felt like if I fell behind, or I didn't do this exactly right, or if I wasn't just completely, to a T continuously, that I would disappoint others. And I had to realize that I can't, and in life, I can't not disappoint somebody. Somebody's not going to be happy with something that I've done, no matter how perfect I do it. And that was really a harsh reality for me, right? And so, but thank God, like, that He has shown me that He is who I'm supposed to rely on, and He's who I'm supposed to depend on, and that I'm supposed to have breathing room, and I'm supposed to have a day of rest, and that I'm supposed to put Him first, and that I'm supposed to, like, just be, if I put Him first, and then He's going to give me that sweet rest that I'm supposed to get, because I'm also doing the will of God. And if I am tired, He'll give me the strength to do what I'm supposed to do until I'm able to get to rest. So those are just things that had I've had revelation of over time. More recently, especially when COVID hit, I had just decided to go full entrepreneur, full business owner, and then COVID hit, and I couldn't do hair. I couldn't have clients, and that was like for 2 months. But God provided. Like, I mean, I've made, God provided. There was no way. But in that time, I had time to read my Bible. I had time to have a close relationship with Him, prayer, fasting. All of those great things happened for me during COVID. And even, like, I will say, my brother, he ended up with COVID, and that was a really, really, really hard time, because I realized that there was another area that I didn't trust God in. Like, prior to stepping out on faith and going full entrepreneur, I realized that I didn't trust Him with my finances. So I have been going through a process of where He was showing me where I hadn't really fully surrendered my life to Him. And so then, number 3 is, where are you currently sacrificing your peace or your family's peace for progress? Here are a few hints. And I constantly post to try and keep up with other companies. And so I have a few companies that I consider competitors, like Curl Mix, and there's one more, Curl Mix and somebody else. And I consider those to be like, because we sell similar products. They started a little bit before me, and but they were able to get the social media traction that I wasn't, because I was working 2 to 3 jobs, and I didn't get a loan for this business. So whatever money I had left over from paying bills is what I put in there, and then whatever money I did make from selling product is what I put in there. But then I still had things come up, medical bills, and so I was just never ever really able to invest fully into the company. Okay, and so then it says, number 4 is, the Israelites were afraid they'd go hungry if they followed God's command to stop working for one day each week. Talk about a time when you were afraid. Follow God. Ooh. And how did you respond? And then when I put my notice in without having a job lined up, and that happened. That is a crazy testimony. While going through this, I'll probably tell you guys about how the job situation at the courthouse and how I had to put my notice in and I didn't have a job lined up, and how God showed out, like showed out. Okay, just prior to, I was looking for jobs and nobody was responding to me, and I know I was overqualified for those jobs and nobody was responding to me at all. But I wasn't trusting him either whenever I was doing that. It was like, I need a plan A, I need a plan B, I need a plan C. I don't know what you're doing now, but I need to make sure these things are lined up because I have bills to pay and I have kids to take care of. And I can't go without no work. I have never gone without work, and I'm not going to do it. And lo and behold, he showed me different. So number 5 is creating breathing room. Begins with wrestling with the question, do I trust God? In what area of my life is it hard for you? What area of your life is it hard for you to trust God? Do you currently have breathing room in that area? I didn't as much as I thought I did. Business and finances, and no, not at all. So I kind of broke that stuff up. So it just goes back to business and finances. In that area, I really didn't have the trust that I thought I did, because in my mind, my plan A, B, and C, I attributed to God, and a lot of times it wasn't him. It was me. And that's terrible. So I'm going to put these questions into the comment section, and like each one separately, and I would love it if you ladies go ahead and just kind of like answer them if you feel like that question is relevant to you, so that we can just get an understanding, not even understanding, so we could discuss like fears that we possibly have. Not tomorrow, so we will start the devotion officially on Monday the 14th, because I don't want to start it in the middle of the week, because I don't know, I just like to stay on track. But this is just the intro video to tell you what's going to start to transpire. Then, when I come back from my mini vacation, I am going to start doing those YouTube videos you guys like suggested that you wanted. Some of the tutorials will have to wait because I'm going to have my hair done for that. Put up in like locks or something for a little bit, because I have had it straightened and I really not happy that I've had it straightened this long, because I can't put my spray in, I can't do my regimen with you guys, and I don't like that. So I will work on like the tutorial videos that I can do. I'm like on my son or something like that, to kind of give you guys a basis on like how to properly wash your hair, how to deep condition your hair, just kind of give you step-by-step lessons on certain products, let you know what you can do with certain products so you're not limited to that, what you think that you're limited to. And I think that's covers everything that we're going to slowly add in to this situation. Nobody can say you necessarily really don't have time. You make time for what's important, and our mind, body, and spirit is important. I am really happy with the results that I've seen. I have 2 people that I'm not seeing the results as fast as I want to. I have like one of those 2 people, like I'm not. I was hoping to see some results, and I haven't seen any, and it's really bothering me. So I'll be doing research there, because I want it just as much as that person does, and so if what we started with doesn't work, then we need to go back to the drawing board and see if we can find something that will work. I think that covers everything, and I just want to thank you guys for trusting me with something that is very important to us, and it is our hair. Whether you're a man or a woman, like when you start losing your hair, or it starts turning gray, or if it's not growing the way you want to, or if it's dry or it feels bad, it bothers us. And then You know, it just does. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I mean, it's something that I hate to say it, but it's something that we feel is really a great part of us, and it just when we feel good in that area, we feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like we have the victory over that. So our goal is to have the victory over our hair, skin, and body. And when I say body, I mean our mind and our spirit, so that we can be better people and so that we can walk in love at all times. Again, like I'm human and I have my really bad days and I'm not always nice. And I'm not saying you always have to be nice. I think there's this preconceived notion that you have to be nice all the time and you have a right to feel the way you do. You just don't let that consume you. You have a right to be upset. You have a right to cry. You have a right to feel every emotion that comes. You just can't allow that emotion to be the story of your life. Just let that be a story, a moment in your story. Okay? And so I love you, ladies. Thank you. Hopefully you're excited about the breathing room thing. If I don't see any answers to the questions, you already know I'm going to tag you in there, and I am going to be looking for these responses because we are a team, right? We are a team, and we are supportive of each other and this journey. And a lot of us know each other, and so we know that this is out of love and sister and men. Because I have some men that are customers. I have men that are on the journey that are not in the group, so they're probably gonna watch this video with their lovely ladies. So thank you, everybody. I will start making the men's butter again. I had stopped because I realized that I was having more men customers than I was women, and I wanted to focus on women and children. And I know that sounds selfish, but I had started it off for my child, but he's a boy. So, like now, I see that men are, I already knew men are interested, but men are participating. I feel like they deserve the line that I had made, and it's called the King Collection. And it's like their logo was nicer, their bottles were nicer. Like I had the men spoiled, and that's when I was like, oh no. Let me talk to my ladies for a little bit. So don't forget to comment below. And I wanted to thank you again. And you guys have a blessed day. I'm looking forward to starting day one with you guys on the devotion for this series. All right, 28 days. So, and I will be doing it while I'm on vacation too, so don't worry.